Hey y'all, it's your boy Wisco Madman coming at you. So I got another product review for you here. It's going to be kind of awkward because the product's obviously bulky, but if you're here, you probably clicked this video because you're like, hey, I want a water filter, and this is something that I've been considering, and I'm curious if it works. So what we're going to talk about here is the AquaTru, and I actually have to try not to spill all this water on me. Tilt the camera down a little bit for you. So, we got the camera down a little bit now. Now you can see more of it. So this over here, wow, sorry. This over here is your display panel. Now it's not plugged in right now. That just basically kind of gives you a fancy little light show of 1, 2, 3, 4, what filtration setups it's going through at the time. This particular model is the Connect version. It does connect to my Wi-Fi, thus being able to monitor on the phone. Pretty cool feature. Helps nicely with filter replacement. I'm going to set this down in just a second here, but before I do, I want to show you one more thing, and that's how the side panel looks. So this is where all your filters are. There's over here, step 1 through 2, that's your pre and carbon filter. Just kind of gets your bulky shit out and whatnot. I'm not going to be super scientific. You care, watch AquaTru's videos, but this is just to kind of give you a review of what's going on here. So this is your pre-filters 1 and 2. This is your middle here, and I can't even read it, so it would help if I could read it, but reverse osmosis filters in the middle, the blue there. And your green over there is your VOC carbon, and in this case, I happen to have the mineral boost in here. Would I go out of my way, if I were to say so now, to buy the mineral boost off the bat to replace the filters it already comes with? No. So if you're wondering it, like, oh, should I splurge to get the mineral boost? It's a cool added, but I wouldn't do it again. I would just buy it as part of the replacement filters in the future. I would rather have it over the base, but I'm still going to burn up the other cartridges. The first one to clog up on me, or not clog up necessarily, but the first one need to be replaced. I got the alert on the 1 to 2, the pre-filter. So I have a feeling I'm going to go through a lot more of these than I do of these two. But yeah, that's your basic on the filters there. I said I was going to set this down here, so kind of get to that point, but oh, as I smashy. So this is your front tank. It's, got a little spout in the front, which is really fucking cool. That's how you fill up your bottles or your whatever. I have a bunch of jugs and shit that I fill up. Eventually I'm going to actually, because I have a 5-gallon that I fill up as well. And I think eventually I'm going to do a 5-gallon fill up and get the dispenser for it so I can dispense out of a 5-gallon version, which would be really cool. So AquaTru, if you want an actual cool idea, what I would say is go to something like that maybe. Figure out, because this is kind of limited. That's the one thing I will say about this, is I go through a lot of these fucking tanks. I did buy extra tanks. I don't recommend buying extra finish tanks because you don't really need them. You can pretty well dump into a jug of some sort, but you don't really need multiples of these. I don't see a point in it, because ultimately, when we get to this back one, which I'll lift up here, there, oh yeah, so, and it's not super clean because they get sloppy, so definitely don't spill a whole lot on your unit because it's a pain in the butt to clean. But this is the rear tank, and what happens is on the rear tank, it'll pull from this, and it cycles back through. So at the end of the cycle, it'll actually have like this much wastewater that you have to dump out that is full of contaminants and shit like that. Like, don't drink it. Don't feed it to your pets and shit like that. It even says it on your fucking labels and shit. But, and you can't I mean, you can, but I highly don't recommend it if you don't want to break your machine, because it literally says right on the top here where that label is, it says, wastewater scaling risk. AquaTru works by recirculating water many times, leaving concentrated contaminants in the tap water tank. Therefore, you must discard wastewater before refilling. Failure to discard the highly concentrated wastewater will cause contaminants to form scale on internal parts and cause product failure. So that kind of gives you the general idea. But those tanks, that tap water tank, I have 2 tap water tanks. I have 2 finished water or filtered water tanks. I didn't need 2 filtered water tanks. It was kind of a waste of money in my case, so don't do that if if you don't. If you're wondering what you should get, I highly recommend get maybe 2 tap tanks, because then it just allows you already have one filled up, you just pull it, replace it, and go. But the other one, you pretty well, once it's filtered, you can empty it out into a jug. And that's kind of how I do that. But that's just me. Other things I'll mention. So when I was saying it's hard to clean, if you can see, try to stick my finger in there so you can tell that there's a difference here. See that lip difference? So that's what the tap tank sits into, and I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't see it because it looks like it's kind of just white here. But this ledge builds up horribly with whatever, basically any and everything that spills in there stays in there until you clean it out. So just one kind of mention. The tap water tank is actually really nice because the filtered side is actually kind of nice because the filtered side doesn't have that lip like this does, you know? So that doesn't build up dirt and grime and crap as bad as this side does. But that's because I'm more of a country boy, and I, yeah, tend to get shit dirty. So just kind of mentioning that for those of you who aren't spick and span and super clean house, you know, those are things that kind of are an extra hassle that bother myself. But the filtered water is great, dude. It makes me feel a lot better over time drinking that filtered water. I think the unit overall is a very good value. And it's a lot easier to get into than any sort of filtration system. Here in an apartment, obviously, I can't install some 7-stage or something like that, so this is a great substitute for something like that. I know AquaTru also has the under sink, which in my case may have been a better option to buy, but the countertop unit works well for what I need it to do, and it doesn't require me to install anything in my apartment, which, you know, you don't have a lot of under sink room to be doing that, and then you kind of have to worry about, you know, fucking up apartment shit and everything else. Now, if you have your own house and you can afford the investment, I would say obviously make the jump to doing like a 7-stage or something like higher quality. But this definitely gets the job done. I haven't done any water tests to prove versus my tap water versus what I'm getting, because here in Colorado, we tend to get an awful lot of chlorine and different contaminants in our water. Chlorine's actually put in by the city, which is pretty much every city, but we put a lot in because, yeah, that's apparently what they think is the right thing to do. But that shit ain't good for you to drink, so that's why I drink filtered water, and it's a lot cheaper than buying bottled water, dude. But that's just the way I look at it. I definitely feel better drinking this water. Sorry, I can't really tell you so much on test results as to what the contaminant difference is, but I trust it. I think it does pretty damn good. So, yeah. Y'all like this review video, go ahead and hit that like button down below. Help me out with that and allow more people to see the review. Y'all have any questions, feel free to drop them down in the comment section. I appreciate any commenting, sharing, subscribing that I do get. And yeah, those of you who don't already follow my channel or follow me in general, you can check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Clapper, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, TikTok. I'm all over. I do opinion pieces, I do reactions, product reviews, and true crime, and whatever I happen to feel like doing that day. So, yeah, as always, I appreciate y'all watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.